Hello everyone and welcome to the Hunter Association, your source for all things Hunter x Hunter. My name is Kaige.
And my name is Dylan.
And in this week's episode, we are joined by a special guest, retired YouTuber, we'll say, DanTheMan5252.
Long career. Long YouTube career. Finally retired after the millions I made.
You had two channels of the same name reach 1,000 subs and then abandoned both of them.
Well, yeah, that's life.
Yeah, life happens.
That's life.
Yeah.
So yes, in this episode, we'll be covering chapter 402, Letter. And then, of course, we will be going through our community comments. As always, if you'd like to join in on the community and have your comment read, be sure to comment on the YouTube version, either on the video or the community post. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to help grow our community of Hunter x Hunter fans. Additionally, if you'd like to know when new episodes are out, click the bell to enable notifications. And if you're an audio listener, make sure to rate and review. And for the time being, if you want to contact us, feel free to email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. As always, we have provided timestamps in the description if you'd like to skip ahead to any of the aforementioned segments. So,
Yes,
Daniel, our first guest ever. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the association.
It's a great honor.
That's. I'm glad to hear it. You've been a great friend of ours for a long time, and you actually, I think you got both of us into Hunter x Hunter initially. Is that right?
I think so. It
took Kaige longer, but yeah.
It did take me longer, yes.
Oh yeah, that
was a saga.
That was a journey.
It sure was.
Yeah.
But look at me now. I'm hosting a podcast about it.
Yeah.
So, with guests, we would like to do like a kind of intro segment to get to know you and your journey with Hunter x Hunter. So just go ahead and start and tell us like how you got into Hunter x Hunter and your journey with the series.
Yeah. So, like Kaige kind of mentioned, I started watching the anime. I think it was like late 2011 or 2012. Whenever I think it was like episode 27 or something like that when it was airing.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it started airing, but it was either in 2011 or 2012, and I watched that as it was airing, and it was an amazing experience. And I don't know if I immediately started reading the manga after it finished the anime. I think it may have been maybe a year or something after. I think I would have to guess it would be like 2015. 2016 when I first caught up to the manga after the anime finished, and I've been caught up as much as you can be caught up within the last however many 8 years for the manga. So I've reread the series I think 3 times now, and then watched through the anime 5 times. I watch random episodes. A couple of my friends have watched through it, and I've watched some of it with them. And so, who knows? I don't know, a variety of times. So, I just finished another reread leading up to this return, and I read the volumes, like the physical volumes, which was fun instead of reading it online. So it was fun to see all the author comments and the little. There's this one volume that had that sticker for Slam Dunk manga. Probably the volume came out in like 2006 maybe. So it was like
wow.
It was cool, like random things in the volumes because I as you two know, I like buying my volumes the original print, and so it's cool because you get to read the outdated ads and stuff like that. So anyways, that's completely off topic from Hunter x Hunter, but that's a brief history of my fandom or I don't know, fanship.
That's awesome though. Like you're constantly intertwined with the series in in one way or another. So very involved.
Yeah, it's cool, and as Dylan knows, it took us to get a lot to get Kaige to finally get into it, but I don't know
I talked about it briefly in the intro episode, but
it took me way less convincing, that's for sure.
I think what it took was me watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and then I was like, oh wait, Togashi's kind of sick, and then
yeah.
when I watched Hunter x Hunter.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
So yeah, you're definitely qualified to talk about Hunter x Hunter. You've experienced us. You've experienced it a lot more than we have, even because Dylan has done just 2 watch throughs of the anime, right? And,
not even like a full rewatch. There's always something that came up in the middle of it, but like I got pretty far into a Chimera Ant on the latest attempt at a rewatch.
Oh, that's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah. So, as close as I could get to one, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So other things, just like who's your favorite character?
Gon's my favorite character.
Nice,
He's,
great choice.
He's always been my favorite. Current profile picture is that Gon drawing Togashi tweeted out a couple months ago, and I've just always loved his complexity and outer optimism and youthful I don't know, output of how people
His
can
radiance. Feel. He's like the sun.
Yes, radiance. Yeah, one of my favorite lines out of like anything ever is when Killua was like, whatever, I don't know the exact line, but I'm gonna, you shine so bright.
Yeah.
It's hard
Sometimes
to look at.
look
whatever.
Away.
After. So.
Yeah, he provides a lot of innocence, I guess, to the series in a in a world where there's not a whole lot of that. So he's special for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to counter that, one of my probably my second favorite character is Miriam.
Yes. Great choice. So. That's my number 1.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Favorite moment.
Favorite moment. Honestly, it might be that Killua quote because I love that quote so much. And I love Gon's reaction when he wakes up again, just like I mean, the other moment probably would just be, I don't know, it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment, but anything from Miriam versus Netero and Gon versus Pito, I don't know, that whole stretch of episodes is and chapters are perfect.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know. I can't pick a exact point, but I guess moment would be when Killua says that.
Great choice.
My favorite quote.
Yeah,
so.
I love that scene.
It's a fantastic choice. You don't really hear that be thrown out a lot in like people's favorite moments. It's always like the obvious ones, right? Especially from Chimera Ant. But that's a very that's one that not a lot of people talk about at times, and I feel like should be talked about more. It's just a very emotional part, even when it's not like, I don't know. You wouldn't think it would be like an emotional kind of moment on paper, but like it says a lot about what their dynamic is, just as
I know,
as partners.
It definitely does, and it's easy to pick any other moment besides that because there's so many incredible moments in this show. So, yeah,
very good.
Yeah. And I would ask what your favorite arc is, but that's probably going to be the same for everyone, just given how this series is, Chimera Ant.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe someday Secession War.
Hey, man.
I can actually say it's my favorite arc because it's
it's
a good competition.
It's real good.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it ever gets finished, hopefully it gets finished.
Yeah.
Then we can say it.
Yeah.
I would feel a little weird personally, saying, the Succession War is my favorite when it's not even finished yet, So.
Right. Yeah, what I always try to convince people, I'm like, it has the potential to be as good as Chimera Ant.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely does.
That's how I try to get people convinced to catch up to the manga.
Mm-hmm.
But, yep, that's my history. Hunter x Hunter history.
That's awesome.
And lastly, one last bonus question here. Do you prefer You Can Smile or You Can Try?
That's a good question.
I mean, I guess You Can Smile is my answer.
That's great to hear. That's an optimistic choice.
Yep.
I respect it.
Both are so good.
I mean, that's...
It is. It hits hard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right.
A little question. Surprise question. I wasn't expecting that.
It just kind of popped in my head. I wonder what he thinks of
the
this.
Script.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Has that been something you've been wanting to ask me every year?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it pretty much since we met. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. so that's enough of Dan. We're gonna kick him off the show now.
I'll
so.
see you guys later.
See you, Dan. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have some news this week. Not much, but there was a Gen-Through trailer for Nen Impact. I know me and Dylan are pumped about Gen-Through. We love Gen-Through.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, there is one part I actually it made me laugh so hard. That he just sends out the goons for some of his attacks. Like that is the funniest thing I've seen out of the game so far.
That was hilarious.
And I guess the second thing is, man, I think something about that trailer really shows how like rough the sound effects specifically for the game are.
But
it is what it is. I'm there for
it's a low budget game.
Yeah.
I'll be there for it no matter what.
I remember when it got announced, we were all so excited, or it was like, maybe this is the one. And then as slowly information and time has gone on, it's decreased.
In some sense. Yeah, I understand it for sure. I'm just a big fighting game fan in general, right? So like I'm going to try it out no matter what, but it's and like it's Hunter x Hunter. I want to support it, but I do wish it had a higher budget though. There's a lot of potential there that's probably untapped even now.
Well, if it does well, maybe we'll get a sequel or something with a bigger budget. So buy it. Please buy it.
We'll see.
All right. And then manga progress updates. He's still working on 422, and he's up to page 8. So,
woohoo!
Good to hear.
It's
along. Yeah.
He sure is.
As of his tweet this morning, he was ambushed by I think it was like a grasshopper.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yes, that's
Chimera.
scary. It could have been a chimera.
I think that was it's like the seedling. That's the start of a chimera arc in real life.
Yeah, dude. Starting right in his office. All right. So with that, I think we're ready to move into the chapter. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so we are here with chapter 402, Letter, and we are opening up all over the place just right off the bat. This is gonna be a bit of a wild ride, I guess, is like a sneak peek for what this chapter will entail. But we're starting off on day 10, Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. With the visual of Zhonglei's Nen Beast just sitting in the panel. In his room in 1003. And then his advisor, I believe, I can't remember his name specifically. I don't know if he was named, but
he is named. Keep talking, I'll get it.
Okay. But he's talking.
I actually have him up right now.
Oh.
The slides.
Oh wow, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But talking to Zhonglei, saying, "Third Prince Zhonglei, if you fifth Prince Tubepa and 14th Prince Wobble are the last 3 remaining, the 5th and 14th princes will renounce the throne in support of you." Zhonglei replies, "I see. Prince Wobble, perhaps, but I didn't expect Prince Tubepa to agree." And they agreed to put it in writing. Yes. In return, Prince Wobble is asking that Sakata and Hashito... Sakata and Hashito extend their support indefinitely. And that is all we hear of Zhonglei for now until we cut back in like a couple panels. But we cut straight away.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, this chapter is all over the place just right off the bat, so it's a little hard to follow. But
I was excited that this was the one that I'm jumping in on because it's so very.
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah.
By the way, Dylan, his name is Temptori.
Temptori, that's who it is.
Yes.
Viewers and listeners of the podcast know that I'm horrible with names, so.
That's all right.
We now cut away to Prince Tubepa, though, in her office. So Karapika entered into the truce and agreed to our alliance. Yes. I can't remember his name either. I am so sorry. I just studied up on this a few episodes ago, and I'm already forgetting names.
I got it. Let's see. Maor.
Mayor.
Mayor.
That's one of them, yeah.
I think it's Maor.
Probably Maor, yeah. I said Mayor in the recap, but yeah, probably Maor. Now that you're here.
Yeah.
Dan, the Japanese expert.
Yeah, sorry guys. I just got to come in with that.
So, yeah, Prince Tubepa is confirming if Karapika entered the truce and agreed with the alliance. Maor says yes. on the condition that both the queen and the prince accompany him when he comes here to room 1005. The third prince's guards also demand to attend in the interest of information sharing. Tubepa replies they're more than welcome. I wouldn't even mind if Prince Wobble came to live here. Dang. Okay, very cooperative.
Wow.
We know she is very supportive of the younger princes. She's really trying to keep them alive.
Yeah. And then we got the schemer, the yapper himself. Just
Yeah, I saw him. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What do we got it in for us this chapter?
Little cameo, nothing crazy yet,
Yeah.
but he's
nothing
cooking.
yet. Yeah. They're colluding with Prince Wobble, or rather, Karapika. Rion says. That's his name, right? Rion?
Yeah, Rihan.
Rihan. Yeah. Sorry. Again, this is a bad day for me with names. We then cut back to Zhonglei. Speaking with Temptori. Your reward. Your second, I believe. Once you reach a certain number, you shall be rewarded even further, as he hands him another coin, it looks like. Yes, sir. My humble pleasure. And Zhonglei's thinking to himself, if. And then we turn the page, and I believe I hand it over to Kaige now.
If you carry it all with you at all times, it will surely bring you good fortune. And he thinks to himself, a semi-surrender is a step forward, though I have my doubts whether a renunciation would even be valid in the succession. But this coin, I thought something would happen after 10 days, but it seems it has no effect if I'm the one holding on to it. And then we cut back over to Tubepa, who says, Fourth Prince Serednich didn't come to the banquet after all. So finally bringing that back up, since like the earliest chapters of the arc, they formed like kind of an alliance, and then it was never mentioned again.
Quote-unquote alliance, it seems
Very
like.
Yeah.
easy to forget.
So collaborating with me isn't important to him. Now that the first Prince Benjamin's guards are coming after me, I can't be choosy. Nothing would be better than the pact turning Benjamin's focus upon Zhonglei. At the next class, as much as you can... Oh, this is out loud, by the way, now. At the next class, as much as you can, impress upon the first prince's guards how close we are to Zhonglei. Then we see... who is that actually looking? Oh, that's Rihan. Whoops.
Rihan. Yeah.
Rihan's looking over at Tubepa, whose Nen Beast has now appeared behind her.
The lizard car. Yes.
Yeah, lizard car is here. Rihan says in his mind, of course, as always. I don't know if he said a single word out loud in his life. He says, Tubepa's Nen Beast appeared right after the signing of the peace treaty. It could be a coincidence, but if this timing has any meaning, it must be conditional. Then we see
I'm not gonna lie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, were you?
No. I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. When after I saw him like starting right here, I kind of like swiped through the rest of the chapter to see how much text there would be.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I want. Is it really just gonna be him talking? But I actually think it's cool that he talks so much. But
I do too.
So
yeah.
much. He hasn't even. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just funny because it was really, honestly, it was just one chapter that he really just went in on it.
Yeah,
And
he's always thinking though.
Yeah,
I think this is a precursor. Yeah. We'll get another Yap Fest sooner rather than later. Now that
it's coming.
Disappeared. Yeah. He's gathering information now.
Yep.
So we then cut to Balls, our boy, with in Benjamin. Well, actually, presumably not in Benjamin's quarters, given a later line. But
yeah.
I don't know where he is. He pulls a little compartment out of his shoe, which is interesting, and he kind of laughs to himself and opens this case and thinks to himself, our military created numerous weapons of mass destruction. This one was considered a failure when flaws were found during its development. But it's the perfect silent killer under the right circumstances. The initial symptoms resemble the stomach flu, and the timing and vectors of infection can be easily obscured. We can use existing infection prevention protocols to limit collateral damage. The surface proteins are fragile and unstable. What is that word?
Denaturing, I believe.
Denaturing in less than 30 seconds. I don't know what that word means. Denaturing in less than 30 seconds in the air. But once in the human body, the pathogens proliferate rapidly, leading to death in 12 hours from multiple organ failure. Sounds lovely.
I just looked up to the definition for denaturing as well. It is to take away or alter the natural qualities of.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of what I inferred. It even hastens decay and is subsequently out-competed by... oh, man.
Putrefactive?
Putrefactive bacteria.
Dylan, you were a biology major for a bit, weren't you?
I was not a biology major, thank you very much.
Yeah, these are foreign words to me, I will not lie.
Yeah, so putrefactive.
Putrefactive, yeah.
Think of putrefaction. It's relating to or causing decay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand, yeah. I guess it makes sense given the next line, but leaving no trace in an autopsy. So it just kind of eats itself.
Yep.
In a room without circulating air, anyone who breathes in at the epicenter will have a 100% infection and death rate. It multiplies quickly, so we'd be limiting its use due to high risk of spontaneous mutations, but in this case, it necessitates deployment.
So we just have the COVID virus now, just like on the ship, right?
Yeah,
like,
man-made virus is an interesting... That wasn't on my bingo card.
No.
I love hearing about stuff like that in the Hunter x Hunter universe for some reason. Like the bomb from the Chimerian arc and just just inventions that just in the universe that are that's one of my favorite things about Hunter x Hunter is how completely obviously different from our world it is, but at the same time it has all the complexities and some of the technology that
well, as we'll see on your page, we have Nintendo Switches. So
yep, I was trying to be like, what is that? But yeah. So as we say, Balls is inserting the little tube into his compartment in his shoe, and I will use this to delete Ninth Prince Halkenberg.
Oh man,
big.
Yes. So that is a big.
Do you think he plans to use this during the trial, or later?
During the trial would be insane.
Yeah. To say the least.
Yeah. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Because that's coming up really soon, I think. That should be within the next few chapters that trial starts.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to add.
Okay. All right. I'll continue.
Yeah,
so we cut to room 1004, and we have let's see, Surundik saying how. I think that he says how many seconds, or yeah.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, he is asking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Surundik.
Yeah. Anyways, yep. And then then he says it's 9.67 seconds. And finally less than 10. This will take a while. Try again in 10 seconds. And then Salkov says finally, and it says he's thinking. Sorry.
Yeah.
It took me a whole year to get to that point, and I've known Zetsu since birth. I thought the 10-second barrier was supposed to be hard to overcome. And it's day 11, Wednesday, 8 a.m. So it's the next day from where we were just reading. And so he's continuing to think. What took 6 months for me takes a single day for Tsiri. He's in a league of his own. Considering his temperament, this monster would use Nen or politics only for his self-interest. Theta is right. Something has to be done, and then he says out loud, "You're doing great. Your speed is remarkable." And then he continues to think, continuing from the butt. According to her, Sari activated some kind of ability during Zetsu, even among specialists. He's breaking all the rules. Zetsu must be the trigger for the Nen Beast to activate all the aura it's been storing up. But I can't eliminate the possibility that Theta was manipulated by its guardian Spirit Beast when she was attacked and isn't a reliable source of the truth. I haven't seen the Prince's Nen Beast yet, after all. And then, who's that comes in? Vantine?
Yep.
Vantine.
He's the one that met up with Melody in the last chapters.
Yeah. Your Highness, regarding the hunter called Melody? I can't... Then this is Salkov thinking inside his head again. I can't do much until I have more information. And then Vantine says the Justice Department suspects her involvement, meaning she's still detained. Also, Prince Benjamin must have the same idea, as his soldiers haven't left the area. And then Sarutnik says, just don't let Big Bird Brain get to her first. Keep asking to see her, find out what she's thinking, and win her over. And then, once again, Salkov is thinking his Zetsu is uninterrupted while running, gaming. That's impressive on his Nintendo Switch. It's got, I mean, that's...
One hand,
it's literally...
by
Yeah.
Yeah. He must be speeding through text. It's probably just like he's
Visual
tapping
novel.
A through text. Yeah, I don't know. You know, in a quest or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Zetsu is uninterrupted while running, gaming, and carrying on a conversation. You'd need to train for years to do that kind of thing. Hell, I can't do that. Stop. Don't think about it. I'm gonna lose faith in myself just from hanging around this guy. Hats off to you, Theta.
He's losing hope
Indeed.
fast.
Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah.
He's trying.
Yep.
Oh man, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
For...
I mean, if the man's gaming while running, like that's
scary.
really what pushed him over the edge, I think.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
if Theta saw that. She'd be like, holy shit.
She'd
One
We
quit.
handed-
just gotta get out of here.
One-handed playing the Switch while running, while talking to someone, and he's still able to be in Zetsu that entire time.
Yeah. I know.
Unbelievable.
Can you do that, Dylan, at the gym? When you're running?
I can't say I could. No. Yeah. I would fall behind on the treadmill very quickly. But yeah, this is just more proof that Serenich is a
Yeah.
terror on the ship, and
Yep.
it's a ticking time bomb. That's just waiting
Yeah.
to go off now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how casual he is about it, too. It's
Yeah.
just like, he's like, oh, it's just nothing.
Yeah. He doesn't realize how significant that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because no one ever like really tells him. They just like think it.
no, because if they tell him, he's
Theta
gonna get even more of an
and
ego
Salkov.
boost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually do think it's cool that that's a good point. No one ever like really says it to him because if they do, then he's gonna be like, oh shit, like I
Yeah.
can probably even try harder and
Yup.
advance even faster. But
Yeah, he's already
Yeah.
thinking like less than 10 seconds. This is so tough.
yeah,
It'll take a little longer, and it's already massively impressive speed. Yeah, he's a marvel for sure.
yeah,
No
it's
kidding.
amazing.
But we then cut to the next page to another part of the ship. Again, chapters all over the place. This time we are seeing a picture of what looks like Fugetsu's back, and we see a mark right around her right shoulder blade. And we see Kacho saying, "I saw this when she was changing. It's like a bug bite. She didn't have this before our escape." Melody responds saying, "It looks like it could be an injection site too." And we see that they're in I guess they're like holding cell right now. Day 11 still,
Yeah.
6 in the morning. Kacho hanging from the ceiling as a guardian spirit beast would, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I guess that's her thing.
I mean, yeah, she can do it. Why not?
Yeah, I don't blame her. She responds to Melody thus saying, "That's not possible. We went back to our room and they brought us here right after that." Melody says, "I know. It's most likely a mark made by Nen." "Mark," Kacho replies. Melody then explains, "Some Nen powers involve a multi-step process. Prince Fugetsu probably fell into a trap and got marked. Didn't she say something weird yesterday?" And then we, have a little bit of a tiny flashback to Fugetsu saying, "I can use Magic Worm many times in one day now." Which, I guess, thinking about it, that was a little odd that just happened out of nowhere whenever that was introduced. Yeah. Kacho has a kind of concerned look on her face as she realizes, "So you're saying an enemy ability is the reason why she thinks she can use it more than once a day?" Interesting. Melody then says, "Get her to use her ability. There should be 2 doors. One is a trap. Show it to her and persuade her not to use it anymore." Kacho says, "Persuade? Once she knows it's not hers, she'd stop, right?" Melody says, "I hope so. She's showing signs that she might be addicted." Interesting wording. Kacho then says, "You mean she was injected with some sort of drug? That's terrible." Melody says, I can't think of any other reason for such a drastic change over a short time. At first, I thought one of the princes who came to see me was using her to negotiate, but that wasn't the case. If she keeps using the enemy's ability, she'll keep getting weaker and won't last until next weekend. This must be an ability that indiscriminately attacks whoever gets trapped. Kacho asks, what should I do? Melody says, find out who's doing this and get them to stop. But it'll be difficult to find them without any clues. And then Kacho says, someone does come to mind, though, as Melody looks to have the same realization. And Kaige, you want to do the reveal?
Indeed, we are talking about Luzurus finally doing something here. Yeah, some involvement.
Not seeming so chill anymore, though. I think I got the wrong idea.
Perhaps. So Melody says exactly what I just said. Seventh Prince Luzurus. And Kacho says, yeah, he manages the mafia and deals drugs to raise funds. And Kaiser says, I see. I guess Kaiser's been there the whole time.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Kacho says, I bet it's his guardian spirit beast. And Melody says, even if that were true, he's not consciously making the attack, so it would be impossible to persuade him. Kacho says, so the only way to stop it is to defeat the prince or the Nen beast itself. We have to take action right away. Melody responds, I know how you feel, but we can't rush in blindly. We need a surefire plan. Yeah, sorry. I figured that would have a hyphen in it.
Yeah, it did look weird. I agree. I did notice a typo,
actually,
in this chapter. I don't remember where it was, but when I was reading it, it was like someone typed by instead of like to or something like that.
Oh, really?
If I find it, maybe we already got to it. I don't know.
If you
we
see
might
it,
have
probably would have noticed, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Keep reading.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kacho says, I have just the plan. To Melody's surprise, Kacho says, Getty had been testing what she can do with her ability. I don't know if there's a barrier around the ship itself, but the door won't open when she imagined a place... the door didn't open when she imagined a place off the ship. But it did connect to a room where the lifeboats are kept, and she got inside the lead one. So we can go there again at any time, but there are things we haven't been able to test yet, Melody says, and that's whether other people besides you can go inside. Kacho says, yes, I think it'll work. On the way out, the door closes when Getty goes in, and on the way back, it closes the moment I get inside the tunnel. So I'm pretty sure other people can go in before us. I want to try this out with you, Melody. And she says, it's just a random little filler line here. She says, we made a butler play with us when we were kids. Melody just kind of looks on, concerned, I guess, and says, Kacho, you'll need more people for your plan. Someone who can carry Prince Luzurus to a lifeboat while he's knocked out with my flute. Kacho says, ideally, we would have Prince Luzurus agree to an escape plan and get on a lifeboat voluntarily. But I don't think he's that stupid. Your ability would make sure it happens. Even better would be if we could poison or strangle him on the spot. Kaiser says, no, it would be much better to make it look like an accident. I'll be the mule. Have it done while you're getting questioned to establish your alibi. Prince Luzurus' guards would claim to be deceived by your music, but that's not a problem. There will be traces of drugs in their urine and hair, so we can say they're lying to cover up for their hallucination. The prince overdosed spontaneously, tried to escape, and had a heart attack. Sounds plausible. I guess. Kacho says, well, like asking if that's good, and then Melody says, sounds like a fine plan, but there's one major problem. Where will you connect the door? They're both, Kaiser and Kacho are kind of, they don't really have anything to say at first, and then says, Prince Luzurus' bedroom. Melody says, Fugetsu will need to go there first, right? She says, yes. Kaiser then says, I don't get it. Can you explain? Melody says, Fugetsu needs to have actually been to a place to use her door to go there again. And Kacho says, in this case, his bedroom.
So I just want to point out the irony in that, like, all the other princes want to use Melody for their own assumed assassination plans. Meanwhile, they're just formulating their own before our very eyes now. I didn't expect that.
I wouldn't have expected that either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like when there's an actual like direct threat, then they're like, okay, maybe we do have to take action, which makes sense. More of just a defensive. I guess go on the offense when you're on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I also just didn't expect like a lot of those words to come out of Melody's mouth specifically. Like, we need to kill Luzurus now. Like,
yeah, I mean, Melody is a really cool character because there's a lot of mystery, but we're slowly getting more kind of personality out of her, which is good in this arc.
Yeah, she has a big role for sure.
For sure.
It's nice to be seeing that explored. And it's also just nice to have Luzurus be an actual like key point now after all this time.
Took a while.
Yeah, it is cool.
You're up, Dan.
Okay. All right. So we got Kaiser here. All right. I can take care of that. Come up with a reason why Prince Fugetsu has to personally meet with each prince. We'd accompany her so there's no danger of assassination. And then Kacho says, each prince, not just Prince Luzurus. And then Kaiser says it would be best to maximize the places she can go, right? It'll cover our tracks and come in useful later. And Kacho says, yeah, that would be convenient. Okay, how does this sound? And then Kaiser says, not bad. Everyone would be interested in a letter containing Prince Kacho's last message, and as long as we guarantee their safety, it's likely they'll accept. For security reasons, showing up at their quarters unannounced isn't unnatural. I'm not sure they'd let a lower-ranked prince inside and accept it personally. I'm sure Prince Luzurus has a lot of stuff he'd rather not show you. Oh, that was Kacho saying that. Then Kaiser says, that will depend on my negotiating skills. Worst case, I could force an excuse to search his quarters and warn Prince Fugetsu. And there's a pause, and then he says, so, I told you how I feel already, right? And then Melody says, yes, I'm well aware. Let me just make sure.
She's like, yeah, you have a crush on me, whatever.
Yeah. I love how he's like, specifically, it's like, have we gotten to this part where he's like, oh no, it's literally the next page where he's like, oh, this has nothing to do with my feelings for you or anything.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, so then Melody's going, there's no turning back after this. Are you sure you want to risk everything? And then Kaiser says, of course. I'm not just doing this out of my feelings for you. So, then Kaiser goes, it's because I think it would be best for Prince Fugetsu to take the throne and change the whole system. Having Prince Kacho by her side would protect her from her mother's meddling as well. And then Melody's thinking in her head, I don't detect any change in his heartbeat. If I can't figure out his true intent, I'll have to assume he's on the enemy's side. And then Kaiser continues, I didn't join the Justice Department to blindly uphold the law. It's to get the world closer to my ideal, gentler world. And Melody continues to think, at least he or the one manipulating him still considers as useful. I have to maintain this relationship for now in order to protect Prince Fugetsu. And then Kaiser continues, I can do the dirty work to make that happen, even if I lose the right to join the gentler world. Very noble. Very noble. And honestly, the more Kaiser, like, I get of Kaiser, more I like him, but, it's still, like, who knows if it's just all an act or what.
Yeah, it's hard
really
to
just
say.
Don't know.
Because
He's a
you would
big
think
mystery.
Melody would be able to tell if this wasn't.
Right.
But, like,
that's what's weird.
I
Is
don't
like,
know.
unless there's something, he has something that can particularly counter Melody's, ability, then it's hard to kind of hide that. Unless, he's just being genuine. So
I also
it's an
just
interesting dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the dynamic of Kaiser in general is like presented in a very similar way as if like we're reacting the same way Melody is in this case, where like he seems righteous like on paper, and like he there's good intent like on the surface, but like you just cannot be for certain in this climate like if that's just like a farce or not. So it
just feels too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
really
how I
does.
feel reading it.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if he actually is? Like, I guess it's still possible.
I know.
It's weird, and you can't help but be distrusting, like Melody is. So.
Yeah, he's really, for a character who came out of absolutely nowhere. He's super interesting. I'm really liking him so far.
I thought Steiner was going to be like the main like interesting character out of the Justice, but yeah.
And I'm sure he will be once we actually reach the continent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right. There's so many characters that just appear like Kaiser, like where he's introduced and then now he's extremely relevant. So
yeah.
All right. Then we cut away to a hallway full of guards, and we see Kaiser escorting Prince Fugetsu down the hallway, presumably to Benjamin's quarters, considering all the guards around. And that's exactly where we're going, as, we're marching to the entrance to his quarters. Chief, the guy at the desk, says as he's standing up, I don't know if he has a name or not. I apologize if he does.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's Benjamin's secretary. I don't know. Kaiser then explains, we'd like an audience with the first prince. The guards asks, or says, may I ask why? Kaiser says, we'd like to personally hand him a letter from the 10th Prince Kacho. Prince Kacho has passed away, but she wrote letters to all the princes while she was alive. She left instructions to personally hand the letters to each prince if she died. We can guarantee that there's no danger of explosives or toxins. We would like permission for Prince Fugetsu to hand the letter to the first prince under our supervision. So, this is the basis of their plan for all of the princes, presumably. One of the guards says, I can take it to him.
Butch.
I didn't know that he had a name. Okay, sure.
Very important.
Yeah, Butch.
Yes, crucial.
Kaiser then says, it could be an official proclamation about the succession. Defying a dead prince's wishes could lead to disqualification. Then Butch just kind of scratches, or not scratches his ear, he's communicating through like an earpiece, it seems like. And Kaiser then says again, please contact the prince. Then we cut to Benjamin saying, let them through. And then presumably Butch, I'm assuming through the little text bubble there's one point of concern. And Benjamin says, what? As we see Fugetsu walking towards Benjamin with a bunch of creepy ghosts and spirits hovering around her.
Yeah, they're back.
And then even Benjamin is caught off guard as he's thinking to himself, my God, she's on her last legs. You must be like extremely screwed up whenever even Benjamin's like, yeah, this is rough.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fugetsu though says, thank you so much for your audience. And I like how this bubble is speech bubble is kind of stylized. She's set, it's implying, very shaky while she's delivering that. May I step over there? And then Benjamin says, of course, gesturing her. And take it away, Kaige.
So she approaches, and Benjamin's Guardian Spirit Piece manifests for a moment. Been a while since we've seen that. And he says to himself, they fled. Oh, yeah, I didn't even really pick up on that. But his Spirit Beast kind of makes them go away, seemingly?
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Okay, so yeah, he says they fled. They're low-level evil spirits. Oh, go ahead.
No, so go ahead.
Okay. They fled. They're low-level evil spirits that plague someone in a weakened state. They're not with Prince Fugetsu's Guardian Spirit Beast or a scheme. She's despondent after her sister's death. She won't last 10 days. Not the first one to say that. He says, I accept. Shall I open it now? Kaiser says, by all means. I will act as a witness if there's any information pertaining to the succession. Benjamin opens the letter and says, an ordinary letter, nothing political or worth showing you. And he says, you still can't find Muse? Oh, so he's playing dumb here because he knows he's dead. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Kaiser says, no. Considering the timing, when you closed off the passageway, we focused our search on Tier 1, but haven't found him. We could invoke our authority to conduct a search of all Prince's quarters. Benjamin says, there would be no point. You know there's currently a dispute in court over which has priority, royal privilege or the military's authority. Benjamin says, this doesn't qualify as a national threat to begin with, which is the prerequisite to declaring martial law. Kaiser says, true. I'm glad he falls for leading questions. That's in his head, that second part. Kaiser then says to himself again, authority has many levels, and the point of contention in court here is about military crisis in which someone in the military is the victim. The case does indeed apply, but Benjamin instead brought up martial law, which indicates a higher level crisis of national survival. It's clear he's waiting for an opportunity to implement martial law. He's probably racking his brain while pretending to remain calm over the contents of the letter. He hasn't even noticed he misspoke. Oh, so, okay. Interesting.
So Benjamin presumably is probably shaken up by whatever is in the letter because, it's supposed to be like information they have on the princes, right?
Yeah.
So at least the Kaiser, he thinks Benjamin is trying to play dumb so as to not come off as like, like it's affecting him, I guess. Yeah. And so he misspoke in the process of bringing up martial law. Kaiser's so smart, man. Holy crap.
He really is. There's a great Kaiser chapter. He says, I was right to do this while Balls was away. Where is he?
Where is he? Yeah. Huh. That's the line. It's like, he's not with Benjamin. So.
Yeah.
Presumably take out Hulkenberg, I guess. I don't know.
I might vaguely remember him being sent somewhere in a previous chapter, but I can't exactly remember.
It does sound familiar where he was sent somewhere, but I'm looking at the page where we saw him earlier. And you can't tell.
No, you can't really make out anything.
So, yeah. But
Kaiser continues and says, seeing how the other princes react will be very educational. So we then see them going to Tubepa and Tyson, who I guess not really anything important to touch on there. So we then see we're in room 1007, so that's Luzurus' room. And I believe Luzurus here is saying...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful that you
sense.
declare my quarters to be clean in exchange for this. And he says, thank you for... Who would be saying this? Probably Kaiser, I guess, here.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cooperation. A major part of our duties is to ensure smooth negotiations between princes involved in succession. So Fugetsu approaches with the letter, and Luzurus says, sorry about your sister. And she says, thank you for your kind words. Basho and... what is that guy's name? I don't remember the other one, but they're looking on. That's the Benjamin guard.
That's Benjamin's spy.
Yeah, I just don't remember his name.
I don't either.
Yeah, they're looking on. So is Kaiser. Luzurus looks over the letter and says, wow, what a parting shot. Fugetsu, did Sis ever tell you anything about the letters? Or if all the letters are the same? Oh, wait, why am I still reading?
I was waiting for you to
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude.
I didn't want to interrupt because it was...
I'm so sorry.
The pace that you were going at, I didn't have a good way to kind of...
I just got in this headspace, read.
All right, you're interested. You're into this.
Yeah, I was invested. I got to know what happened.
Yeah. I do love rereading these. I read this however long ago, an hour or two ago, and it's cool just reading it right after again.
Yeah, it's great.
Sorry, I'll just... You want to just finish off that page, and I'll just go on to the next page.
Okay, I guess so. Sorry. Yeah. So, or are the letters the same? And she says, no, she never had a chance to tell me. Luzurus says, I guess she didn't want you to get involved. It has nothing to do with the succession, but Mr. Bigwig should take a look at this. He hands it to Kaiser, and he says, allow me. And he thinks, I told Prince Kacho what to write, of course. Now take it over.
Okay, so this is a little flashback, a couple hours before or whatever. So let's shake up the princes while we're at it, Kaiser says, and then I think, I don't know, someone says how. I don't know who it was, but then Kaiser continues. Yeah. Our independent investigations have gathered inside information on other princes.
Oh, okay. So just to interject really quickly, this is where it's revealed that they have information on the other princes, and that's what explains the whole Benjamin interaction earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got the order of stuff mixed up. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Then continues, the purpose of which is to maintain and defend our neutrality, a deterrent. They might as well be literal bombshells. Let's use them here to our advantage. And then Melody says, I see. But how would Kacho know any of that? And then Kaiser says, they'll be desperate to discover the source of the leak, that's for sure. And then I believe Melody's thinking in her head. I'll be there to deflect questions that dig too deep into Prince Cacho. I don't intend for her to return to Tier 1 where it's dangerous until the secession is over.
I feel like that's actually Kaiser thinking that, but
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. And then Kaiser, I think he continues thinking on the next panel. I didn't expect Luzurus to hand me the letter. He may be more careful and skeptical than I thought. And then he says out loud, whistleblowing on Prince Serednich. These are merely rumors. And then Luzurus says Prince Serednich is the one I wouldn't want on the throne. And that's what he's quoting from the letter. It could be defamation campaign as a ploy to get you guys to dig up the real dirt. Believe me, there will be plenty to find. Not like I can talk. And then, is that Luzurus thinking that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Something's weird. Her last message wasn't to ask to protect her sister, but is instead filled with bombshells about the other princes. The older sister was pretty smart. Each letter has got to be different. Get the snakes, me and 4, to duke it out, while she milks the tears on Benjamin to secure her sister's protection. That means it's dangerous to act carelessly. I should bide my time. And then Luzurus says, I have no idea whether any of them are true, and I don't care to find out. And then he thinks, let them think I don't trust the letter and have them handle it. Got to keep the balance. Then he continues out loud, you can keep the letter.
So, interesting wording that he had there about, get the snakes to duke it out, referring to him and Serednich, which is...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does he mean by that? Unless it's just referring to the mafia stuff, which is kind of what is referencing when he says "gotta keep the balance."
That's what I think he's kind of talking about.
That's what I figured too.
I mean,
but it's interesting because the mafia families aren't exactly like. I mean, they're the benefactors, but it's not like the mafia is their guard or anything. So It's interesting to phrase it as if they're like going head to head in this case. Because it's not directly they're not directly going head to head.
In any case, though, Luzurus is much smarter than maybe we even gave him credit for in the past.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the important thing to take away here.
Yeah, it's just as the arc goes on. Obviously, it's so nice to see fleshed out all the characters more fleshed out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Luzurus, we're finally getting inner thoughts and things like that from him. So I don't think we've ever had that from him. So
yeah, not from Luzurus. He was always just presented as a druggie. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That was his entire thing. So that's good to be able to finally explore him a little bit deeper. But I believe I have the final 2 pages now of this chapter. Cut to Kaiser and Fugetsu back in the hallway after meeting with Luzurus. I think Kaiser thinking to himself, it worked. And Kaiser then talks to Fugetsu. If you're tired, we could postpone the rest. Fugetsu says, I'm fine. I'll do whatever I can. Not really as shaken up now as she says that. As the spirits are still kind of hovering around her. But then they sense something, I guess. And then they immediately disappear again, screeching into the ether, I guess. Then we see Basho come to talk to them, saying, Prince Fugetsu, a moment. I'm Basho, Melody's colleague. Fugetsu says, oh, nice to meet you. Basho says, I don't want to overstep, but you just seem really tired. And then we get a little close-up of what he has in hand. It's a little kind of, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, like a tag, I guess. What that says, pure light of winter, glittering flakes fluttering, grace the frozen path. Which we have a little text box, little narrator text box almost. The Nen activates by the inclusion of words of invocation, light for healing or purification. Seasonal wounds further raise effectiveness. Or seasonal words, sorry, not wounds. Further raise effectiveness. He says, a good luck charm. Keep it on you. Fugetsu says, wow, thank you so much. Basho says to himself, this'll ward off evil spirits for a while. She's still in danger as long as she remains untreated. Melody, it's up to you, as he gives a little peace sign to her as he walks away again, back to guarding Luzurus' quarters. So, Basho's a good dude.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep.
And Kaiser bows in thankfulness and, begins to walk away with Fugetsu. We then cut away back to Kacho and Melody, where Kacho says, in case Prince Luzurus wasn't the one behind this, so still being cognizant that like he might not be, we should do it as soon as possible, as soon as Getty's awake. So I guess their plan is just kill him, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, whatever, I guess. Bye, Luzurus.
It's bold, yeah.
Yeah.
Do the questioning while she's getting treated in sickbay. Place guards in front of the room, and the alibi will be perfect. Melody says, right. Basho gave us some time, but we still haven't narrowed anybody down. I'll use my ocarina for logistical reasons, but I still won't be able to do anything while I'm playing. Kaiser says, no problem. If the tunnel is about 10 meters long, I can carry him myself. Melody is just kind of thinking to herself. And she says, that rumbling happened right above us. Besides us, only Prince Hulkenberg is here in Tier 2. That ability must belong to him or his guardian spirit beast. But Prince Hulkenberg himself fell ill. Whether that was planned or unexpected is important. I'd like to know all the details and give him the letter right away when he awakens. So, I believe this is the first time we're hearing that Hulkenberg has fell ill, right? And
yes, and now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if Balls used it in his cell, that drug.
That's what I'm thinking.
In the holding cell.
He did say the initial symptoms are just kind of like the flu and, and whatnot. So
you know what? I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know how.
It took me this read to put it together. So yeah, I think Balls is seemingly successful in that. At least that's the implication.
Yeah, that's huge.
Wow.
So,
man.
Hulkenberg might be dying soon if that's the case, unless a miracle happens.
I feel like, unless he really just cuts Hulkenberg out like that, there's so much leading up, but I mean, it could have happened.
Yeah,
you never know. It's unpredictable.
I don't know how he would get out of it.
This is why.
I don't know.
This is why rereading chapters is so useful, guys. You put two and two together at the wildest times.
Seriously. Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd like to know all the details and give him the letter right away when he awakens. If he awakens, I guess. And then Kaiser says, I assigned someone I know to attendant duty. Melody thinks to herself, his letter contains all the information. Prince Benjamin's secret, Prince Serenich's depravity, and the truth about Prince Hulkenberg's birth.
Yeah.
We might have a leading candidate now for, who might be Beyond's child. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Assuming they would have that information, which would be very interesting in of itself. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Melody continues to think to herself. And more information that shakes up the succession itself. Prince Hulkenberg will surely make use of it. And one more hope, Karapika. Comes to Karapika reading a letter. As long as the succession continues, the princes can't escape the ship. Please come up with something so no more princes have to die. Oh, man.
Okay.
To be
it's
continued.
all up to Karapika.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
for better or for worse, to put all this on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, this poor guy.
What a chapter.
Yeah. So many interesting developments here. The Hulkenberg truth about his birth is definitely what's standing out the most to me right now. I don't necessarily think it means that Beyond is his father. It could be the case though. It would be crazy to me that somebody would know that.
Yeah, that's the next question you would ask them. Like, if that were to be the case, how would that have gotten out?
Yeah, that's the big thing there. I did see we do have a few community comments we'll get to later about that topic, which I agree with what some people are saying there. But yeah, a really good chapter. I loved reading this. It's just nice to be back, man. We got all these new developments going on. We're moving forward.
This chapter specifically was man, it feels like we're gearing up for some deaths coming up. That was the big impact of this chapter for me. We're setting stuff up to actually happen now, rather than just presenting new information.
Yeah,
big
I
things
wonder
are
if Togashi stopped at the right at the time that he specifically wanted to stop. Like, he's like, oh, I probably got to take a break for a couple years, and this is a great place to stop. Is or it's just a coincidence that these last 2 chapters are like bangers. I mean the ones before he stopped were like they're good chapters, but they weren't like anything super revealing or like bombshells and stuff. So it's just cool that we get 2 excellent chapters with so much information and right away. So I don't know. Maybe I doubt that he plans on like stopping, but he probably knows like a certain. I mean, I don't know, like in the past, I don't even know which chapters he stopped on. So what the last ones were previously, but
Well, the one before this last one was what was it, like something part 1, and it was just like the middle of a little skirmish. Clash part 1.
Oh, was it?
It's when
Yeah.
Henry discovered like the
that
the
was
other family's people.
You're right. That was when that was. Yeah. That I forgot.
That was completely
so that
random.
One, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I think maybe it is just random.
Yeah.
I think it's
Maybe.
also equally likely though that Tagachi's like, all right, this is like the last chapter I can reliably do for the foreseeable future. I have all this information I want to unload soon. I'll just save that for when I can, produce more chapters again. That's
I love
equally
when
likely.
Togashi unloads. It's just such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Unloading. I'll take it all in.
Indeed, yes.
But this chapter was just a great read. It sets up so much stuff, brings Luzurus into a new light that we haven't seen him in yet. It's very interesting going forward. Kaiser is getting to be more of an interesting and equally suspicious as well character as time goes on, so I'm excited to see what happens with that. And
We get a little Basho.
Yeah.
It was
Nice
have a
to
little
see
bit of
more
everything in
Basho.
this chapter. Got to see
Yeah.
a little bit of what everybody's doing for the most part.
Mostly, yeah. Yeah. Felt very classic. It reminded me of like the earlier chapters in this arc where we just touch in on every prince for like a chapter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
As we've stated before, it's just so nice to have new information. After so long, it's like it's surreal. Like I've reread it so however many times, and this read through is just like it's finally like new stuff. Feels good.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. All right, so I think anything else you guys wanted to mention before we move into what everybody else thought?
I think I'm ready to hear what our listeners have to say about this chapter.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so let's move into community comments then.
Okay, so we have community post comments now. This is from the post that we put up this morning as of this recording to hear your guys' thoughts on the new chapter 402. So let's get into it, shall we? First up, we have a comment from Strep to Beep saying, even though it is understandable why some people dislike the word count, it makes it feel like you're getting more bang for the buck when you read the chapters. With Tagashi writing, you know there is a reason for everything. If you are a big Hunter x Hunter fan, would you not want to read as much as possible now that the new chapters are finally here? And that's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. Like we meme 100%. on the Tagashi yapping all the time just because it's fun, right? But like there is a lot of truth to what you're saying here. Like it's just good content. Why wouldn't you want to read more of it?
Yeah, it's truly incredible because just in this, compared to like other manga, in this one chapter, think about how much new information we got. That's incredible. Like I wouldn't want it any other way. This is amazing pace.
Yeah, I completely agree. I want as much as Togashi can give me. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So more words the better, because we don't know how long we'll have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's for sure. Yeah. You got to like soak it in like while you're able to read weekly releases especially.
Yes.
So,
I know.
yeah.
Yep, when Togashi unloads, I just want to soak it all in.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have This Is Me 2014. I saw a lot of people are saying that Togashi retconned Fugetsu's ability, but I think it's intentional. My thoughts. Few possibilities with Fugetsu's ability. 1, Fugetsu might have gone to tier 3 before. That's why she was able to go there before. Perhaps. That is interesting. I didn't really think about that.
We haven't really touched on that yet. Like,
yeah,
why she was
forgot
in
to
tier
mention
3.
that.
Huh.
Yeah. This whole new aspect of having to have been there previously to go there. That is, yeah, that's interesting. Anyways, his second thought is Fugetsu can randomly go anywhere in the ship, but to go in a specific spot, she has to have been there before, so that's why this plan. Perhaps.
So like a random element to her ability that was just
Yeah.
not touched on? Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, there is a lot of holes with this new information because that also has to mean she would have been in Kacho's like bedroom before. And I guess maybe she might have, but who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, he also says, after the escape and Kacho's death, she can use the ability any number of times in a day and by herself, so maybe this is a new condition. Okay, I see. So this is now added after as like a,
That's
a way to hold it back.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely thing, in all honesty.
Yeah, I
with
think
the information
that's-
presented.
Yeah, it's fair too because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want just some broken ability that
The
creates
thing
more
I will say,
plot
though,
holes.
is that they're speculating that her ability might not have actually improved and that it's like a trap. So it
well,
might not even be real anyways.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess only time will tell, really, whether any of that is the case. But
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't really read it as a retcon at first, but I guess it kind of is. I mean, we'll have to see going forward. I really do think this is intentional. Like, Togashi's not the kind of guy that would make this kind of mistake. I
Yeah.
think he's thinking about this, but yeah,
I'm not
on
gonna lie,
the surface it is. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just didn't even remember there was a different thing before. I always thought like that was just her ability. We just
Yeah,
Didn't
it was
know
actually she said like it can just go anywhere she thinks of, and we always assume that's how she ended up everywhere. The person who did have that limitation though was I forgot his name, but the Crescent Moon Killer.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Whoever,
Totally.
I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah.
Crescent Moon.
So I guess
very
maybe
similar.
Togashi mixed the two up, but I doubt it. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been able to keep track of too much already. I doubt he would make a mistake like that. So I don't know. I thought you were talking about Nov for a second. But
yeah.
I don't remember if I honestly don't remember.
Dude, I don't remember.
I can look real
Yeah, I'd
quick
be
just to
curious.
see because I'm curious whether he has that same one. But you can keep going if while I'm looking.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Dylan.
I just wanted to add as well, though. Like the fun part is that even if this was like a mistake on Togashi's part, he'll find a way to make it make sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's that guy.
Full confidence in that. Yeah.
Yeah. But for now, I guess I will move on to the next comment. From Starkuline, I believe is how you pronounce that. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry. Like 401, this chapter threw us some unexpected curveballs and took a direction I couldn't predict. One thing I really liked was getting an insight into the relationship Fugetsu has with the other princes, from how they treated and responded to her. Also, Luzurus' inner thoughts revealed him to be more than the dumbass his siblings view him as, so I'm really looking forward to what he does when Melody/Kacha/Kaiser's plan takes place. I doubt it would happen with the Mafia mess going on currently, but if that scheme against Luzurus manages to drag in the Mafia family backing him, it could be the first step to getting the Mafia families, as well as the troop, involved in the succession contest more, and that would be extremely hype.
Yeah, that's a good call there.
That
would
could
be a
be
good way to bring him in here.
that is a tangent way to actually kind of make them relevant into the contest. So I guess it's possible for sure. I kind of doubt it would happen as well, just because there's so much going on within the Mafia specifically on those lower tiers that how would that even flow in properly, I guess is the best way to put it. But
I guess I just kind of feel like things were going to explode with that conflict before they even get a chance to come help Luzurus in any way. Because that's ramping up so quickly down there that I don't know if there's going to be time for something like that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Much to add. But by the way, Nov, I don't know how I forgot this. All he does, remember, is he has to go and touch, like, whatever, a surface, and then that's how he's able to...
oh, wow. So he has to actually touch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's how his ability works, so...
Okay.
Okay.
Good reminder.
So, Dan, why don't you take this next one?
Okay. So final form Keith. I love the Poochie icons. I just watching through you guys' videos, I'd always notice the Poochie icon.
I honestly, this is crazy to say, but I never really noticed it until you pointed it out. I didn't even I wasn't consciously aware of what that was. Yeah, that is indeed Poochie.
Yeah. Well, so surprised me to see that Benjamin has another method of poisoning someone to death. I would have thought that they just had that one dude that killed Sally do all that. P.S. This is a mind-blowing coincidence. I used to watch Dan's vids all the time back in the day. I went by a cool name back then, and I doubt he remembers me, but I can't believe you guys know him. Tell him to come back to YouTube. Sorry, I know this isn't the chapter about the chapter. Ignore this if you want.
We could not include this.
You know what? Cool name. I 100% remember you because,
wow.
And I'm sure. Well, I mean, I've talked about cool name before. Like, you were one of my most loyal viewers, and I really appreciated your viewership and comments and everything. It was really cool. So that is amazing, though. That you've transformed into your final form. So it's nice to see that that you've gone from just cool name to your final form. And I assume your name is Keith. So thank you, Keith. And we'll see. Someday it's. I think about it, but the reason I stopped was because it's just like so much shit to do, and it's just like hard to create videos. It pretty much would take out one of my whole weekend days to create one of my videos, between the recording and editing and script and all that. So who knows, someday. But thanks for your comment. It is very cool to see, and I do remember you sincerely. I do remember cool name. So.
That's
awesome. Amazing. Wow, I can't believe it. What a coincidence.
It is. And now he's one of your guys' most loyal viewers.
That's the crazy thing is he was around like this. He's one of our earliest ones. Like him and Rex George Rodriguez are the earliest ones I can think of. And that's what a wild thing that happened here.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, your comments have always stood out to me. When I look at their comments, Hunter Association comments, I'm like, because I don't know if it's the Poochie icon or what, but I'm a huge JoJo fan too, so I always notice that kind of thing. But yeah, it's nice that you support like smaller channels so much. That's really cool to see, because
it blew my mind.
Yeah, it really is. Like I don't know if you actually do like support like a lot of smaller channels and you're really into like commenting on lesser viewed things and things like that, but or it's just a insane coincidence. I don't know.
That's the thing. This is just completely separate from like a relation to like your channel, Dan. And like we just happen to we're all friends here, and we just happen to get one of your viewers just completely unrelated. Yeah. That's crazy coincidence.
Yeah, it's not like we've been friends for like 10 to 15 years,
something like that. Yeah,
and it's so very cool. Thank you.
That was mind blowing.
Yeah, we had to include that and discuss that. That was just a very cool thing to be revealed there.
Yeah, but actually talking about what your chapter comment was. So yeah, surprised to see that Benjamin has another method of poisoning someone to death. I would have thought that they just had that one dude that killed Sally do all that. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, we really don't know like the extent of Benjamin's, I don't know, like arsenal, I guess.
Benjamin is cunning.
He sure is.
He's not only like, super powerful and influential out of all the princes, but he's also very smart. Like, he's one of the smartest out of all of them. So, yeah.
And I do want to point out at least with current recollection, again, there may have been a scene between Balls and Benjamin before that I'm forgetting, but this could just be Balls doing this, like, on his own. Because, I mean, this is like a whole hidden thing in his shoe. Like, maybe Benjamin doesn't even know about this, and he's just being really direct. But I feel like Balls wouldn't do that, given what we've seen from him so far. He's really smart, too. Yeah, very loyal and smart, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that would be surprising. But
I can check that out to see, like, because I'm curious, like, what the last thing... Because I remember we were talking about faintly remembering him being, like, assigned to do something.
I know. I swear I remember something like that, but it's just not solid in my mind right now. Do you want to continue, Dylan, or do you want me to read the next one since I had Dan read mine?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read the next one.
Okay. We actually have two from Edward here. Should I read them back to back?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Okay. So Edwards SS6073, the very complicated name. I think this chapter, more than anyone else before, reminded me that there's an entire layer of relationships and bonds between all these princes. It's easy to forget that this is all essentially a 30-plus-year-old family feud we have fallen into as readers. P.S. I screamed when I saw Basho. Tears of joy. I was so happy to see him in see him help in his own weird way. Yeah, always great to see Basho, for sure. Yeah. He goes on and says, in regards to Fugetsu's ability being changed, it is interesting that this part of her ability was introduced when Kaiser was in the room. So his speculation is just that they've been lying in front of him. Oh, because they don't trust him. That's good, Edward. That's good. Very good.
That is good.
Easier explanation than it being a retcon, but it's more reassuring to assume Togashi has a plan for this. Haha. Yeah, that's good. I like that a lot.
Yeah. How do we doubt Togashi?
That's right.
How do we doubt him? I was thinking that too. I'm like, it's Togashi. Like,
that's
why are we doubting him? But
yeah.
Great point, Edward.
Excellent.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that could easily be a lie.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. The princes lie all the time. Like, it's literally like, it's smart, but.
Right.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Which would make it... I wonder how this ties in with the whole, like, Luzurus assassination thing now, too. Because, like, again, kind of, like, expanding on what I said earlier, it felt very, like, weird to have, like, Melody just be, like, all in on, like, killing... Or, like, setting all this up for Luzurus when, like, she outright said at the end of the chapter she doesn't want more princes to die. You know?
Right.
So, maybe this is just all a scheme to kind of throw Kaiser off of their scent for whatever reason, but...
It might be.
And then there's an alternative motive behind all of this, but like I don't know how that relates to Fugetsu either. So like this is just really interesting now.
Yeah, this is a super interesting development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the comment. That gives us a lot to think about.
Yeah, that's a great one. Thank you.
One more community post comment that we have though. Before we move on to comments from the prior video, from Stone Breakerio. Sorry. I'm betting on Hawkenberg not being Beyond's child. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the answer would be spoon-fed to us one chapter after the reveal of the Beyond Child mystery. I'm betting on Mariam. His mom seemed to care way more about him than Momose and gave him her guards, and he clearly has more aura than her, as he wasn't drained after barely using his guardian spirit beast. I also think a child makes sense given that Beyond wouldn't need all of this to make someone with so many advantages due to being born to the first or second queen win. But Wobble would be too obvious. The evidence isn't strong, but I hope it's him. Okay. Yeah, it's a very good point about like it'd be very weird to be kind of just like the Hulkenberg stuff might be a red herring very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually kind of opened my eyes a little bit to the Mariam idea because I do think it's interesting how an early gimmick with his spirit beast was that it was constantly growing, and you could interpret that as like Mariam just has so much like latent nen that it's just able to like overfeed basically, and it just kept growing. So that's I really like that idea, but it was also speculated by Bisky and stuff that it was just due to his emotions. But again, that's still just speculation. We actually have no concrete, like, real stuff from Togashi or narration or anything on how his spirit beast works. It's all just character speculation. So yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like Mariam is a pretty good pick for that. We'll see.
Mm. Yeah. So gives us a lot to chew on there as well. Very curious to see how that'll come into play, if it comes into play.
Yeah.
But I believe that is it for the community post now, and we'll be heading into community comments from the prior video.
And this top one from a community post, actually, because he just missed the cutoff, and I had to get him in there because I felt bad.
Yes. Yeah. So this first one, will actually be including 2 of Ultimate Power's comments. One was from the prior community post, where he was literally just minutes late from being able to be put into the prior episode. I apologize for that. And then also an elaboration that was on the video itself. So, Ultimate Power says, this was about 401, just keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. This chapter is a wild card, because if any of Beyond's children die and curse to death a prince to expedite the succession war and place one of his children as king, or extend the arc with this other party entering the fray, and we may have a moment to every guard is given order to use Gyo and identify these children. Longhe says there are at least 10. We/they need to find out they are who they are to keep their respective prince safe. There's always a chance it's more than one prince being Beyond's blood, I believe is what was meant to be said. Also, I firmly believe Oito didn't birth Wobble with Beyond. Her reaction panel after the reveal is question mark, as opposed to Bill and Karapika, who were just shocked. Okay, so yeah, good point there that Wobble's reaction maybe just meant she was confused. Like, she wouldn't have anything to do with him as a result of that. But also, going into his elaboration, sorry, I just wanted to put this one out there before we discuss. He says, to piggyback off my initial comment, missed the deadline, the whole point of Karapika teaching Nen to each prince's guards was to force a stalemate. Now knowing that there's 10 plus people who have the ability to kill a prince, Karapika has to establish another stalemate by having these children identified and restrained. It's funny, because this chapter ended with the last guard entering to the Nen test. LOL.
Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead.
I really don't think it's Wobo. Like, that's one of the princes that I'm like almost certain that it's not, personally. I just feel like
I don't know.
He's too.
It'd be too obvious.
Yeah. Like
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, he's too involved in the plot already. Like, not necessarily meaning that the whatever child would be not involved as much, but like Kurapika is like directly involved, like, the main character of the arc pretty much, and directly involved with Wobo. That I just think it unless it's, I don't know, who knows. I like we've said, I don't want to doubt Togashi doing anything. Because it always makes sense in the end, but
yeah, it's hard to predict right now. There's not enough concrete information on anybody, so who could really say? But I don't know. I personally think Wobo is a pretty big candidate. I don't know about you, Dylan, but I think it's very possible.
I think it's possible. I just don't know if it's as likely as speculation makes it out to be from the larger community.
Yeah,
I think it's certainly one of the more. There's like tiers to this stuff, right? And I think like Wobble is more likely to be, a candidate for Beyond's child than not. But that's not to say that I believe that Wobble is for sure his child or anything. I think there are, I think my perspective with Wobble is that there's probably more than meets the eye with Wobble. I just don't know if it's with Beyond specifically. I don't know if that's...
Yeah. Kind of like going off of that, I really think Oito knows something more than she's letting on, or like something is not necessarily that's like a negative, but I think she maybe is hiding information that she might know that that could make Wobble even more unsafe than he already is, or something like that. Like I could definitely see her knowing more than she's letting on, even at this point, like this far in. So it could be something beyond related, but it could also be something just completely unrelated beyond. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think she definitely is like has Wobble's best interests in mind, and I think she trusts like Kurapika and some of the others, but I don't know. She could always know something that she wouldn't tell anyone unless it's revealed in some way that she has no control over.
Kind of like a thing where maybe she would have been worried that if she made the information public, they wouldn't have taken the job or something like that. Maybe just quit.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of stuff revealed this far in, like literally last chapter, for instance, that someone had knowledge of that we just didn't know until last chapter. So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you for the comments, though, and glad we at least got to put you in this video.
Yes.
Moving on, though, we have from Kaige. Thank you for not making a video when leaks came. It was so hard to dodge them that I had to create another account. You are safe here for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck leaks.
Yes, we are very against leaks out here. Pretty much everybody I know personally in our friend group is not a leak reader.
Like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to leak shame.
I mean, I don't personally judge other people for reading or partaking in leaks, only because I know there's, the circumstances beyond leak culture as a whole kind of like forces people's hands or makes them believe they have to indulge.
Just stay strong. Stay strong.
I can't
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I can't disrespect the intent for like all leak readers is I guess the best way to put it. That being said, I do think supporting the official release does it is the absolute best thing you can do for a series that you do like. And so
especially since they're literally free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
Like the new chapters are literally free. And of course the previous chapter is also like $3 a month, so it's still
nothing.
But like if the newer chapters are straight up free, I know some people also have a thing about like, oh, I don't want to sign up for something even. Like, I'm like, that's just weird to me. Like, why? What the hell? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're already caught up, you don't have to pay a dime.
Yeah.
Just read it for free every Sunday, same time as anybody with a subscription.
Yeah. And I don't get like the outlines too, like, why do you want to ruin the chapter by reading
text
bullet
leaks?
Points? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a whole different piece.
That's
that I do not
blows my
respect.
mind.
Yeah.
There's I recently caught up to Kingdom like a couple months ago, and on like the subreddit you can check like you view the bullet point leaks and everything, and they're all the scans are the translations are always like actually a good amount, like a few weeks behind. So I just like try to stay away from that subreddit completely because I don't want anything. And just like something funny like relating to that, or I like on that subreddit there are flares for historical spoilers and manga spoilers and anime, like anime only stuff like that. Like I just think it's funny that there's historical only, whatever spoiler tags, because it's actually based on like real history.
Yeah,
but
that is funny.
anyways,
Yeah. So I guess the only other thing I want to add to the leak thing while we're on the topic in general, again, no disrespect to anybody who does leaks, especially if it's just because you're gonna get spoiled if you don't partake. Like I can sympathize with that to an extent. That being said, I think all of us here would agree in that even if you do partake in reading the leaks, I think it would go a long way to also make an effort to support the official chapter releases, give those a read as well. That there could be a difference that would make a ton of that would change a lot of your perspective on a chapter, even with an official translation, given comparative to fan translations.
And
So
don't participate in the spoilers from the leaks.
big thing too. Yeah,
like it'd be
don't
one
do
thing
that.
like if someone just literally reads leaks only and everyone only reads the leaks, but no one discusses and about it. Like you can like be like, oh, I'm shocked by this reaction, or like even at the very least, or put a spoiler, I don't know, spoilers and then below, but even that, like just scanning through like tweets or something, you can be spoiled. So
Yeah.
I think it comes down to, if you read leaks, don't participate in discussing the leaks until the official release.
Not openly. Yeah, not where like
right. Yeah.
making no effort to censor it at all, or that's lame if you're not doing that.
There are definitely accounts out there that just do that on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that was a big problem with JJK, and it's definitely a huge problem with One Piece.
Oh my god, yeah.
But you. All that aside, it's kind of tangentially related, but you are safe here if you are trying to avoid leaks. Do not worry. Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on to Fieldo's comment on the topic of Longhee not being the silent majority user. Furikov is the only one with suspicion of her. I think it's easy to assume that Furikov is wrong about her, and he's overthinking the situation. But we also don't know the limits of his Nen perception. He might be seeing something in Longhee no one else can. I saw the theory somewhere that Furikov is actually right about Longhee being the assassin. In the chapter, she denies being the silent majority user before Kurapika pulls out the dowsing chain. We never learn if that part was a lie. She shows off her contract ability to prove her ability isn't SM. My brain is not functioning. I can't tell what that's supposed to mean. Sorry. But silent majority.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stupid. But she's talking to someone with a literal 5 abilities that are only loosely connected to one another, so it doesn't necessarily prove her innocence. Also, if memory serves, she had no way of knowing Kurapika had a lie detecting ability until after he gave her a warning in this room. So she would have been comfortable with lying freely before he showed it off. There are plenty of holes in the theory, but some interesting food for thought for sure. Curious to know if you guys buy into any part of it. She could be connected to the killer in some way, or a red herring. Keep up the great episodes.
Yeah, so that is interesting, an interesting detail that was before dowsing chain was out. There's really not much to say because I can't say for certain. Like, she could have been lying there. We have no possible way of knowing. But at the same time, I feel like it would be foolish on Kurapika's part to just not ask that question again after dowsing chain is out. And I also think that just because that didn't happen on the page doesn't mean that didn't happen. So I don't know. I maybe I'm just putting too much confidence in Kurapika, but I feel like that's a wild thing to overlook for him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of just withholding judgment on parts of the series until we see more of Longhee in general, and just kind of seeing where that's going. I think it is interesting though that there's not a hard confirmation that Longhee isn't silent majority really with that detail of the dowsing chain, at least to our immediate knowledge. So something to think about.
I feel like Longhee wouldn't have necessarily thought, quickly before Kurapika pulls out dowsing chain, I'm gonna lie about this real quick. I just don't. I don't think that she was lying on things up until when he pulled out dowsing chain. I just feel like, I don't know, that wouldn't have happened, but maybe.
Never know. It is good food for thought though.
For sure. Then we have a comment from This Is Me 2014. Great discussion, guys, and my boy Bobby Mina looking more and more important. So the 13th Prince Morion being the son of Beyond theory is in one of the chapters. I'm assuming is what was meant to be said. 12th Prince Mimose says that Morion is not fit to be King's vessel, so she might be judging him for not being the biological son of the king. Interesting. And how her mother doesn't care about her. Morion was always the main focus. There's that again with the focus being on Morion. And Mimose got fatigued after using so little of her Nen beast, but Morion's Nen just keeps growing, and he's just a child and no sign of fatigue. This would be explained if he is Beyond's child and has a lot of aura.
Right. Yeah, I am buying into the Morion thing more as we go on. It feels like
it's becoming more and more convincing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. It's really all we can say. I am definitely, my interest is piqued on that though. I'm feeling a little more strong about that one.
Yeah, it goes kind of along with my thing with Wobble. Why it's not Wobble is because, he's not, or well, I'm talking about Mariam. He's not as involved, so it could be him. But
yeah.
This is also making me realize, reading through all these, this talks about 401 now. My God, when I said maybe Luzurus is beyond Sun last chapter, yeah, no, that's out the window, most likely. But
most likely, I guess there's nothing outright saying no, but
it just feels like the focus that he's in now. Like, why would he be tied to the beyond stuff now?
yeah.
His central point now is with Fugetsu and Kacho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but honestly, like the whole beyond, child thing is, I feel like it's just never going to be truly known until it's revealed. Like we can speculate and speculate all we want, but we're never going to be like, there's never going to be a theory, I think, that hits all the marks.
Yeah, absolutely,
completely convincing. So that's what's really cool is how it was revealed is literally just that there is one of the princes is Beyond's child. And that's all we have right now.
This feels like a plot point as well, where like I feel like we're not going to get a lot of like crumbs to like lead to the answer until Togashi feels it's ready to be revealed for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I am buying more and more into Mariam being the son now. It's becoming a more plausible theory as I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Isaiah. Yeah. Isaiah's Rock. Sorry. Again, horrible names. Right. Yeah, sure. Thank you for the comment, though. Honestly, no one really looks like the king. His children at first, it didn't really matter because there was no reason to think otherwise. So I was thinking, what if the king knows that no one is his kid? So that's why he has all those coffins, because he just wants to use them, and since they are not his, he kills them. What do y'all think? That's an interesting perspective on the whole.
Yeah.
Like it's turning the plot point on its head almost, which it's interesting in of itself. That being said, I don't think it would be as simple as like nobody is the king's child and the king is just this evil dude who wants to kill all these people. Like I don't know. Something about that doesn't make sense to me inherently, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a baseless theory, especially that last part. But the thought of all of the children not being his is very interesting. I think I don't see it as likely, but definitely a good thing to think about, I guess, at least.
Yeah. I highly doubt that it's all of them that aren't his.
Yeah,
like, maybe
that'd be
like,
wild.
However many number. It could even be like only 2 of them are his or something like that. But I don't think it's definitely not all of them.
No.
I don't know. I feel like for some reason Benjamin is like a lock to me that he's his kid because I don't know, he's just like the first one. Like
I feel like you'd know,
but yeah.
I do respect this a lot though for trying to tie it back to the whole 14 coffins thing. That like it's just like we haven't learned really anything about that or gotten any clues to that since that panel all those I guess years ago now. So yeah. I respect you trying to tie into that though. It's something to keep thinking about still. Next up we got a comment from Pocholo saying Serenich's facial features kind of looks like Beyond's. His nose and eyes, so kind of he is question mark. And with his insane abilities and genius talent for Nen, so there, maybe.
This is something I sent you guys last week.
You did, yes. And yeah, from the anime, it was a screenshot from the anime, I believe, of a young Netero. And
Isaac
my
Netero.
God. Isaac Netero, yes.
Yeah.
But they looked very similar, and it was kind of spooky.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
Definitely interesting. I could for sure see it being the case. Again, it's still that one just feels too obvious to me.
I know that's the thing, but then again, it could just be that obvious.
Yeah, it really could be. It's so hard to say.
That's the problem with this one. Yeah, it could literally. It could be. I don't know.
It's really as you said, Dan. We're not gonna know until we know.
Yeah, it pretty much is like that simple.
Yeah.
Because even with like not evidence but theory so close as to a comparison between Isaac Netero and Serendich, it's not like it's evidence, but it's, it's, I feel like one of the better theories just because it's just their looks, and Surindic's insane Nen, affinity. But.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's more credence to that as a possibility than maybe even I gave it credit for last week, for sure. And come around a little bit to the possibility.
I mean,
but
he can play his Switch while on the treadmill. So
that's true. That's when you think about it, that's insane aura in of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we ever see? Yeah, we never saw Isaac playing the video games, but I mean, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
And beyond too. Like, what if they put him on a treadmill and see what happens? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Could be the big reveal we're waiting for.
Yeah, can Beyond play Nintendo Switch on a treadmill? That's what we're waiting for.
With one hand,
crazy if they're like, he's like, I want some way to exercise, and they're like, here's a treadmill, and he's like, I'm getting bored on this thing. Do you have like a Switch or something I could try out? And they're like, yeah, here. The reader's the only one that knows, really, because Zodiacs don't know.
No, they don't know about Surindic's gaming prowess.
I don't.
Yeah. But we'll never know for sure until it's told.
I guess not. Yeah, that's all right. Thank you for the comment, though. Got off a little off track there, but next up we got a comment from Lula Hassan. Guys, did you think that Beyond Netro had something to do with Kakin's revolution 30 years ago? I know this one particularly caught your eye, right, Kaige?
Yeah, this is super interesting to me because that revolution is something that both me and probably a lot of people don't really think about too often because it was just kind of offhandedly mentioned a while back. And I mean, 30 years ago, that lines up. Like, I don't know how exactly old Beyond is, but that sounds like he probably would have been like a young adult around then.
I was like, the moment you read this, Dylan, I was like, it could be. So, I mean, I don't know. Like Beyond, I feel like just has had his hands in everything.
Yeah.
Specifically Kakin, I really think. I feel like he has been pulling the strings behind Kakin for longer than we think.
Well, especially since we know, one of his kids is one of the princes.
Right.
Like, it's
exactly.
Who knows what else he's gotten into in terms of Kakin, and he's directly involved in, the expedition and everything. So.
Yeah.
Potentially 30-year-long schemer is pretty insane.
Yeah. Dude, Beyond's so sick.
Yeah.
Like,
he's crazy.
Yeah.
Great comment, though. Obviously, no evidence at all, but that was really good food for thought.
Yeah. I think it's definitely possible. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And I believe we got one more comment to read in this section from Lope O. He says, theory on Beyond's child. Beyond's child being assumed to be a prince is a red herring. The true child of Beyond is Owito, who is most definitely younger than 30. This means his true goal is to foster Wobble, who is his grandchild. This explains Silent Majority. It's one of Beyond's team, maybe even the doll girl, who is protecting Wobble from any assassins. This could also explain why Beyond put so many of his underlings with Wobble, as well as the strange Nen that Kurapika felt from Wobble as well. Since Beyond knows about the Succession War, my guess is that he knows about Nen Beasts and the powers they hold. Given that Wobble is still a child, perhaps her Nen Beast type could help him with whatever he plans to do on the Dark Continent.
Well, I mean, this kind of goes back to what I said about Oito earlier. Who knows? I mean, she might have some information. But.
Yeah, that's the Oito being Beyond's daughter is definitely something that I disregarded that too quickly last episode, I think. But I definitely do think that is certainly possible. Likely, who's to say? But definitely possible. I do like this Silent Majority thing you said about it potentially being like that weird doll girl from Beyond's team that Jing said was like easily the most powerful in the group.
Yeah.
That's a good, interesting thing to think about. No evidence really, but it is odd that she was pointed out in particular. I always kind of read it as like, okay, that's just set up for way, 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 way later, but could be now. I don't know.
I do like the idea that it kind of flips the idea of Silent Majority on its head in that instead of this like big threat within the Nen classes, it's actually an ally for Kurapika and his team. That'd be an interesting, subverting of expectations.
The only thing about that is you'd think if they were an ally, they'd try to make it known to Kurapika because, I mean, obviously Kurapika is going to go after this person, and if Kurapika ends up like taking them down, then that's kind of counterproductive.
That's true. That's a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think it's the Oito part sticks out in my mind the most that it's possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know.
The only thing is that I feel like the circumstances of Rito's birth would have to be like unknown to her in this case, obviously, given her reaction. Unless she's just really good at playing coy with it. But I don't believe that'd be the case.
I don't know. I like her. I think she's like good, like inherently, or she means well. But I have no real evidence on thinking this, but I just feel like something could be. She just knows something that we don't,
hiding
and
something.
she doesn't want to reveal. But
maybe,
it's totally. I have no evidence on thinking that. So
just a gut feeling.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I wrote it off a little too quickly last episode as well, and this comment has kind of helped me realize, it could make sense still. I'm just not confident in it, I believe. Yeah,
for
good
sure.
Food for thought. But I believe that'll do it for the community comments now. Again, if you guys want to have your comments, thoughts, whatever you want, right on the show potentially, leave a comment on the YouTube video or send us an email at our, hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. And, reach out however you can. We'll see if we can get your thoughts on the show, if it's applicable.
Absolutely. Okay, and I believe we're pretty much ready to round off. I think we got everything off our chest about this chapter. Definitely a lengthy one. I'm surprised. I mean, it was a lot of words in this chapter, so
There was a lot of words.
Yeah. It ended too soon for me. I want to keep going.
I feel you, Dan.
Yeah.
I wanted more words.
Yeah. But
all right. So with that, this has been the Hunter Association. Thank you so much for listening. We are available on all major podcasting platforms as well as YouTube for the video version. Be sure to follow, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be here every week talking about Hunter x Hunter. Dan, actually, this week, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, for sure.
It was amazing. I appreciate you guys having me, and I love doing this. So, and it does give me the YouTube itch.
Keith, listen up.
Even just watching you guys' videos the last couple months has given me a little itch.
That's awesome. Oh,
man,
that makes
we'll
me happy
see.
to hear.
You want to plug anything here at the end?
I mean, my Twitter is DanTheMan5252. You can follow me on there. I talk about, I tweet relatively often, a few times a week, I guess. Just about anime, manga, video games.
Yeah, your backlog, right? What you're currently
yep.
playing.
I always make sure to, when I beat a game, I tweet, what game and I beat, and I'm just working through my backlog, keeping up with the releases, and of course I'm always reading some manga. I just finished. I mentioned I finished up Kingdom, caught up to that, and then I went on my reread of Hunter x Hunter, and I don't know what I'm going to do next actually. So
yeah,
but yeah,
Vinland Saga.
You can follow me on there or check me out if you guys want. And if you want to look at my old videos, it's also DanTheMan5252 is the channel name. So.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, you can see will Jujutsu Kaisen be getting a season 2?
There's some outdated. I think like most of my videos are relatively outdated by now. I have some that people could watch and maybe enjoy, but
you can ponder the question: will Time Paradox Ghost Rider be the next big hit?
That one was. I mean, who knows, man? It might come back.
It might come back. It's not too late.
Yeah, the next big Shonen Jump series. I remember we're like, oh shit, this is banging. Like this is like it gave me like Bakuman, Death Note. I don't know, it was interesting.
It was good, but 11
there are
chapters that
jump
ran
series
for
that
so.
are like that are slaughtered. But
yeah,
I think my favorite video that seems like is the Why You Should Read Monster one. I don't really, I don't remember if it's actually good, but it seems to get relatively good views. And
Well, you have that manga
It's
collection
kinda
video with
topical.
100K, man. That's huge.
yeah, the manga collection video, yeah, I mean that one is purely just because it's a manga collection video. So
Yeah, I think
I
you just
just-
have interesting shelves that made
Yeah,
people click
that
on
too.
it. You know,
That too.
on the wall.
yeah.
Yeah, go check out Dan if you're interested
Yeah,
in seeing more
There's
of
great
him.
stuff on there.
Yeah.
All right,
vault.
Dylan, where can people find you?
Yep. So you can find me at DJ Tengen on Twitter. That's DJTENGEN. No more chopper icon. I am sad to inform my listeners who may have been invested in my icon journey.
We got a classic back.
Yeah, you got a
Yes.
classic back with myself, in the camera, taking a photo with Adachi from Persona 4.
In the
And,
flesh, yeah.
Yeah, in the flesh. Yeah, you should go give my profile a check if you want to see that. I will not elaborate further on that. But yeah, I tweet pretty often, retweet a lot of random stuff, random memes, and then just talk about anime, manga, video games, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, go follow me there on Twitter.
All right, and of course you can find me at Kaige10. It's KAIIGE10. Currently pretty much just tweeting about Sparking Zero, so if you don't care about that, you should probably just block me, because that's kind of all I've been tweeting about.
Paige is on a real Sparking Zero bender.
I am.
Will be
yes.
for at least another month, I'm assuming.
Likely, yeah.
You're taking a month off from work, aren't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a whole year
It's
off
like, oh,
work.
fuck it. I'll take 3 more weeks after this week.
Might as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, find me there. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Dan, of course, thank you again for coming on. You're welcome back anytime. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
And next week we'll be talking about chapter 403 with probably another guest. Again, I'm not gonna mention it right now in case things fall through, but likely gonna have another guest on next week. So look forward to that. And we will see you then for chapter 403.
See you guys then.